Time to go shopping. You grab some pickles, a carton of eggs, that fancy Greek yogurt you've been meaning to try, and that box of good old sugary cereal. What do these products all have in common? They can all be kosher. But what is kosher? Contrary to a popular myth, kosher does not mean the food is blessed by a rabbi. It also has nothing to do with whether or not the food is healthy. The Hebrew word kosher means fit or proper, and it generally refers to the foods that are fitting and proper for Jewish people to eat. Just what is fit to eat is defined in the Torah and later rabbinic teachings. So what makes some food kosher? Well, here are the 3 basic principles. Number 1, only some animals are kosher. Kosher fish need fins and scales. Mammals must chew their cud and have split hooves, and since those animals are kosher, so is their milk. Any birds on the Torah's not kosher list are not kosher. Common kosher birds include chicken, turkey, and duck, and all of their eggs are kosher as well. There are also certain types of kosher grasshoppers, but today most people can't tell which are kosher. Anyways, you won't find those in your supermarket for obvious reasons. So which animals aren't kosher? Mammals like pigs and horses, and seafood like catfish, shellfish, and a host of bugs and creepy crawlies. More on those later. Number 2, kosher mammals and birds must be slaughtered and prepared in a special way. This process is known as shechita, which is an ancient form of slaughter requiring a highly trained expert known as a shochet. The shochet uses an extremely sharp and smooth knife to cut the animal in a specific spot on the neck, ending the animal's life quickly and painlessly. The animal is checked to make sure it had no significant health problems prior to death, and all the blood is removed through soaking, salting, and rinsing the meat. That special salt being used to remove the blood, by the way, is where we get the term kosher salt from. Fire up the grill, we've got some kosher steaks. Number 3, meat and milk products are never mixed. Not only will you never see a kosher cheeseburger, but we even wait 6 hours after eating meat before having dairy. Taking that one step further, the kosher kitchen has separate sets of pots, pans, dishes, and utensils for meat and dairy to make sure that not even a drop of dairy flavor gets into the meat or vice versa. By the same token, no non-kosher is ever used with kosher dishes, and kosher food cannot be prepared in non-kosher utensils. In general, fresh fruits and vegetables are kosher, so you can go ahead and grab a cucumber from the produce section. However, once a food item has been commercially processed and packaged, you can't always assume it's still kosher, so with those products, you'll need to make sure it's good to go. Now say you're shopping and you want a can of baked beans. How do you know if they're kosher? The best place to look is on the package, where you'll often find a little symbol telling you that the food in your hands is kosher. It can look like this, or this, or this, or this. These symbols indicate that the product you're holding was manufactured with rabbinic supervision and overseen by a kosher supervisory agency. Kosher restaurants also need to be certified, and will often have a certificate displayed in the window or by the cash register. Once you bring your kosher food home, make sure to prepare them in a kosher way, using only kosher utensils and not mixing the meat and dairy. So that's it? Well, almost. There are a few other things a kosher consumer needs to be aware of. Even tiny bugs are included in the creepy crawly ban. So for example, leafy greens and berries need to be checked for infestation, and some must be avoided altogether. Kosher wine has its own complex laws, and some wines must only be handled by Jews to retain their kosher status. If you want to play it safe, check for the word mevushal printed alongside the kosher symbol. Certain foods must be prepared with Jewish involvement to be kosher. This is known as bishul Yisrael. Dairy that has been supervised by a Jewish person is known as chalav Yisrael, and baked bread with Jewish involvement is known as pas Yisrael. Some foods, including produce, coming from the land of Israel, have even more kosher requirements, so you need to make sure those products are kosher as well. Okay, this is a lot of information to digest, and this is only the basics. For more info, you can always visit Chabad.org/kosher. When you're ready to take the first step towards keeping kosher, it's a good idea to speak to your local Chabad rabbi, who can walk you through your unique situation and offer guidance and tips on where to get the best kosher food in your area. Okay, we got all the rules down, but why do we keep kosher? Well, to be honest, we don't really know. That's right, the Torah does not give us any reasons. Some, like Maimonides, have pointed to logical reasons, claiming that certain not kosher foods were once common among idol worshippers, and that others are not healthy. Other rabbis, such as Nachmanides, explain that non-kosher animals are forbidden because of their negative attributes. If you are what you eat, then we certainly don't want to be eating something that could have a detrimental effect on our psychological or spiritual well-being. While all of these explanations explore a side of keeping kosher, none of them are the reason why we keep kosher. When all is said and done, keeping kosher is a mitzvah, something that God commanded us to do, something that connects us to Him. Every mitzvah that we do makes the world just a little bit holier. The spark of divine energy in our kosher food will go on to give us the strength to speak kosher words, think kosher thoughts, and do mitzvahs, forging spiritual sensitivity and strengthening our infinite bond with God. Bon appetit!